Welcome to Best College Online Lectures. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about the structure of a human egg, and also along with that, we will discuss about the types of eggs. Based on the various classifications, we will go to discuss about the types of classifications or types of eggs. Okay, so that all we will discuss in this class. Once you can recall what we discussed in last class. So in last class, we discussed about structure of ovum. See, already I told you, ovum or egg is the largest cell in human body, and this ovum along with its membranes is known as egg. Ovum along with its membranes is known as a egg. Okay, so the human ovum is spherical in shape. It is about a 0.1 millimeter in diameter. And if you observe the ovum, the cytoplasm which is present in the ovum is known as ooplasm. The cytoplasm which is present in the ovum is ooplasm, and the plasma membrane which is present in the ovum is known as oolemma. Oolemma. The cytoplasm is ooplasm. The plasma membrane is oolemma. And outside to this oolemma, there is the first protective membrane, that is zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is a non-cellular layer or acellular layer. This non-cellular layer is mainly made up of mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides. So zona pellucida is acellular layer. It is made up of mucopolysaccharides. And outside to this zona pellucida, there is a cellular layer, that is corona radiata. Corona radiata is present outside to zona pellucida. This corona radiata is a cellular layer which is made up of granulosa cells. Corona radiata is made up of granulosa cells, but zona pellucida is a cellular layer. And one more thing you have to remember here, in the ovum, there is vesicular nucleus. There is vesicular nucleus which is known as germinal vesicle. Germinal vesicle. The nucleus of ovum is known as germinal vesicle. And already I told you, the otid which is formed by the meiosis II will modify into ovum by undergoing some modifications. What are the important changes that will take place in the otid and that converts otid into a ovum? See, in the otid, very less cytoplasm is there, but the quantity of cytoplasm or the amount of cytoplasm will increases in the ovum. At the same time, the cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and mitochondria also increases. The cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, and Golgi bodies also increases in the quantity. And after increase in the quantity, these three cell organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and the mitochondria will arrange in the form of a ring around the nucleus. The increased cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and mitochondria arranged in the form of a ring around the nucleus, which is known as Balbiani-Vitelin ring. In last class already I gave you Balbiani-Vitelin ring. So what are the cell organelles participates in the formation of Balbiani-Vitelin ring around the nucleus? That are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and mitochondria, right? In this, the Golgi body will secrete a protective membrane outside the plasma membrane of ovum. So around the egg, the Golgi body secretes around the egg. The Golgi body secretes a membrane which is known as Vitelin membrane. In human egg, the plasma membrane of ovum and Vitelin membrane both are fused. So we can notice Vitelin membrane only here. There is no chances for identification of Vitelin membrane and plasma membrane separately. Here both are fused. That you have to remember. And if you observe carefully here, it is Vitelin membrane and it is zona pellucida. In between Vitelin membrane and zona pellucida, there is a space. In between Vitelin membrane and zona pellucida, see here it is Vitelin membrane, it is zona pellucida. In between Vitelin membrane and zona pellucida, there is a space. This space is known as perivitelin space. Perivital space, that you have to remember here. Perivital space is the space between vital membrane of the ovum or vital membrane of the egg and zona pellucida. Okay, that you have to remember here. The two are very important things you should notice here. Is it clear? Structure of ovum or egg. After completion of structure, already I gave you the polarization of egg. See how the egg is divided into two poles, animal pole and vegetal pole. How to notice animal pole and vegetal pole? As already I mentioned in last class, in the egg, the yolk is accumulated mainly at one end, which is known as vegetal pole, and the cytoplasm, most of the cytoplasm is accumulated at another end, which is known as animal pole. So there are two poles, the animal pole and vegetal pole. That also you have to remember. The sperm will always enter into the cytoplasm of ovum through animal pole only, because there is formation of a fertilization cone during the fertilization. I will give you that also. Okay. Later we will discuss how the fertilization cone will form and how the sperm will identify this fertilization cone, and all we will discuss at the time of discussing about the topic fertilization. Okay. Just remember here animal pole and vegetal pole. I think already I gave you about vitellogenesis. That is the process of deposition of yolk in the egg. Already you know yolk is the highly nutritive yellow color substance which is essential for the nourishment of embryo during embryonic developmental stages. Okay, so in that yolk, the main component is lecithin, which is the most abundant phospholipid there. That is lecithin. As already I gave you in that, there are little amount of albumin, globins, all are present. There is oovitamin, lipovitamins also present. So that all we discussed in last class. Now we will continue the types of eggs. After completion of structure. Do you know the difference between ovum and egg now? What is ovum? What is egg? Ovum with its membranes is known as egg. Ovum with its membranes is known as egg. Without membranes, that is ovum only. Okay, right? Now, the types of eggs based on amount of yolk or quantity of yolk, how could we classify the eggs? First type of classification of eggs based on amount of yolk or quantity of yolk. Amount of yolk. Based on amount of yolk, what are the types of eggs here? So first in this alecithal eggs. Lecitha means, as already I told you in last class, what is lecitha? Lecitha means yolk. Alecithal eggs. What alecithal egg means? A means absence. So the eggs without yolk are known as alecithal eggs. The eggs without yolk material is alecithal eggs. What is alecithal egg? So in the eggs there is yolk is present to nourish the embryos. But if we observe in human being, is there any need of yolk to nourish the baby? There is no need of yolk because human being is a viviparous organism. In the viviparous organism, there is formation of placenta in between mother and fetus. Before formation of placenta, there are extra embryonic layers to nourish the embryo. So to nourish the embryo, there are extra embryonic layers. And after extra embryonic layers, there will be formation of placenta. So there is no need of yolk. Because of that, In the egg of human being, there is no yolk. So which type of eggs are present in human being? The egg of human being is a alecythal egg. The egg of human being and all eutherian mammals. Eutherian mammals are placental mammals. In eutherian mammals or placental mammals, which type of eggs are there? Alecythal eggs. Alecythal eggs. What is alecythal egg? Egg without yolk. Egg without yolk material. Egg without yolk. Egg without yolk is alecythal egg. Okay. In which type of animals we will find this type of alecythal eggs? In human, which type of eggs are there? Alecythal egg. So the human egg is alecythal egg. That you have to remember. Important thing, ma. Already we discussed the structure of human egg. Which type of egg is this? It is alecythal egg. Alecythal egg. Along with that, in all eutherian mammals. Eutherian mammals are placental mammals are viviparous mammals. Which type of eggs are there? Alecythal eggs are present. And after completion of alecythal eggs, the second type here is Lestamine is the most abundant component in the yolk. So here, what you have to understand, in alecythal eggs, there is no yolk material in the egg. This type of eggs are present in viviparous mammals. Viviparous mammals. This type of eggs are present in viviparous mammals. That you have to notice. In viviparous mammals, which type of eggs are present? That are alecythal eggs. One second. So if there is no yolk or eggs without yolk are known as, some students are asking doubts. I will explain all that. Just listen first. Okay. First listen. After completion of topic, we will discuss all the doubts. Okay. Alecythal eggs. So here in the eggs where there is no yolk, that is alecythal eggs. And after completion of alecythal eggs, the second type of eggs is microlecythal eggs. Microlecythal eggs. What is microlecythal egg? Microlecythal eggs. In this type of eggs, the eggs contain little amount of yolk, very little amount of yolk, that you have to remember. So in microlecythal eggs, the yolk is very less. The eggs contain a very little amount of yolk. The type of eggs are known as microlecythal eggs. Microlecythal eggs. What are the examples for this microlecythal eggs? The eggs of Amphioxus. The eggs of Amphioxus. The eggs of sea urchin. The eggs of sea urchins. And the eggs of starfishes. Eggs of starfish. All these eggs are which type of eggs? That are microlecythal eggs. What is microlecythal egg? The eggs with very little amount of yolk are known as microlecythal eggs. What are the examples for this type of eggs? In which animals this type of eggs we can notice? Amphioxus, sea urchin and starfish. In Amphioxus, sea urchin and starfish, which type of eggs we are noticing? that is microlethal eggs. Microlethal eggs. And the third type of egg here, that is mesolethal egg. Mesolethal egg. The third type, mesolethal eggs. Mesolethal eggs. What is this mesolethal egg? The eggs which contain moderate amount of yolk are known as mesolethal egg. The eggs with moderate amount of yolk. The eggs with moderate amount of yolk is mesolethal egg. So the egg without yolk, alethal egg. The egg with very little amount of yolk, microlethal eggs. The egg with moderate or medium amount of yolk. The egg with moderate amount of yolk. The egg with moderate amount of yolk is known as mesolethal egg. Mesolethal egg. Is it clear? Mesolethal egg. Next, after mesolethal egg, what is the example for this? This type of eggs we can notice in amphibians. For example, in frog, which type of eggs are there? That are mesolethal eggs. And we can notice this in Petromyzon. Petromyzon. And we notice this even in lungfishes. Lungfishes. So in Petromyzon, lungfishes and amphibians, which type of eggs we will notice? That is mesolethal eggs. Mesolethal eggs are present. Is it clear? So 3 types I gave you. Now, what is the next type of egg here is? So here, the last type, megalethal eggs. Megalethal eggs are, this megalethal eggs also known as macrolethal. Macrolethal are also known as polylethal eggs. Polylethal eggs. So the next type, microlethal egg or macrolethal egg, sorry, megalethal eggs are macrolethal eggs or polylethal eggs. So the next type, megalethal or macrolethal or polylethal eggs. What it means? Megalethal or polylethal egg means the egg with a huge quantity of yolk. The egg with abundance of yolk. Here there is a large amount of yolk is present in the egg. If large amount of yolk is present in the egg, that type of eggs are known as megalethal eggs or macrolethal eggs or polylethal eggs. If you will see the egg of hen, how is the yolk? Yellow color substance. There is more yellow color substance, more yolk is present. So which type of egg is this? That is megalethal egg or macrolethal egg or polylethal egg. What is megalethal or macrolethal or polylethal? The eggs with more quantity of yolk. The egg with abundance of yolk. The egg with a large quantity of yolk, okay, is known as megalethal or macrolethal or polylethal egg. So where we will notice this type of eggs? This type of eggs are present in the groups, in the class Reptilia and also in apes. In reptiles and apes. Reptiles and apes. Okay. So in reptiles and apes, in reptiles and apes, even in egg-laying mammals, mammals. The egg-laying mammals are prototherian mammals. Prototherian mammals. in prototherian mammals or egg-laying mammals, reptiles and aves. Which type of eggs are there? That are megalethal eggs or polylethal eggs that you have to remember here. Okay. So megalethal or macrolethal or polylethal eggs that are all completed. So there are 4 type of eggs based on what, ma? Based on amount of yolk or based on quantity of yolk. The eggs are classified into 4 types: alethal eggs, microlethal eggs, mesolethal eggs, and megalethal eggs. Okay. In human being, which type of eggs are there? In human being, which type of eggs are there? The human egg is alethal egg. Alethal egg. The human egg is alethal egg that you have to remember here. Is it clear? So human eggs are alethal eggs. Once again, I am repeating. In human and also in all eutherian mammals, there are alethal eggs. Whereas in amphibians, sea urchins and starfishes, which type of eggs are there? Microlethal eggs. And mesolethal eggs are the characters of amphibians, petromyzon, and lungfishes. Megalethal eggs are the characters of reptiles, aves, and also in egg-laying mammals, prototherian mammals. Okay, so that we have to remember here. Is it clear? Right. After completion of this, first type of classification of eggs is completed. Based on amount of yolk, eggs are classified into 4 types: alethal, microlethal, mesolethal, megalethal. Now, based on the distribution of yolk, it is based on the amount of yolk. There are 4 types. Now, based on the distribution of yolk, based on the distribution of yolk, based on distribution of yolk, how the yolk is distributed in the inside the cytoplasm or inside the ovum, how the yolk is distributed inside the egg. Based on that, these are further classified into mainly 2 types. The first one is isolethal or homolethal, and the second one is heterolethal. Okay, there are 2 types: homolethal and isolethal here. Homolethal or isolethal eggs, homolethal or isolethal eggs, and here heterolethal eggs. Heterolethal eggs. What is homolethal or isolethal eggs? Homolethal eggs or isolethal eggs means the eggs where the yolk is evenly distributed throughout the egg. There is uniform distribution of yolk. The uniform distribution of yolk is present in this type of eggs. If a yolk is uniformly distributed, if the yolk is uniformly distributed, that type of eggs are known as homolethal eggs or isolethal eggs. Homolethal eggs or isolethal eggs that you have to remember. So here in the homolethal eggs or isolethal eggs, what is the character you can notice here? In the homolethal or isolethal eggs, the yolk is distributed throughout the egg evenly, or there is a uniform distribution of yolk takes place. What about heterolethal eggs? In the heterolethal eggs, the yolk is not distributed evenly throughout the egg. So in some regions there is more yolk, and in some regions there is very less amount of yolk distributed. Uneven distribution of yolk in the eggs. Uneven distribution of yolk in the eggs is the character. So that you have to remember. The first type of eggs, that is homolethal eggs, are usually present in the microlethal eggs. So in the microlethal eggs, how is the yolk material? There is very less amount of yolk. Because of that, yolk is evenly distributed or uniformly spread inside the egg. So that is homolethal or isolethal eggs. Even the alethal eggs, in alethal eggs there is no yolk, but in some cases very minute quantity of egg yolk may, that is negligible amount of yolk may present. If negligible amount of yolk is present in the alethal eggs, that is also distributed evenly, uniformly distributed throughout the egg. So the type of eggs are known as homolethal eggs or isolethal eggs. What are the examples for this type of eggs here? In Echinodermata, which type of eggs we notice? That is this type of homolethal eggs. In Echinodermata, which type of eggs will notice? That is homolethal eggs. And also in protochordates. In protocardate also we can notice homolethal or isolethal eggs. Maybe you all know that. Echinodermata. After Echinodermata, hemichordata is there. After that, chordates will begin. In that, urochordata, cephalochordata, both are collectively known as protochordates. In that protochordates, which type of eggs are there? So in chordates there are three subphyla: urochordata, cephalochordata, vertebrata. Already you learned that in first year. So urochordata, cephalochordata, collectively known as protochordata. So in that protochordates, which type of eggs are present? Homolethal eggs or isolethal eggs are present. And also in the echinoderms, like starfish, which type of eggs are present? That are homolethal eggs that you have to remember, right? So after completion of that, what is heterolethal egg? As already I told you, what is heterolethal egg? In this type of eggs, the yolk is unevenly distributed, or the yolk is deposited more in some regions and very less amount of yolk is present in other regions. So uneven distribution. There is no uniformity in the distribution of yolk. So this type of yolks are known as heterolethal eggs. In the heterolethal egg, there is uneven distribution of yolk is present, and these heterolethal eggs are divided into three types. Heterolethal eggs are divided into three types. There are three types of heterolethal eggs. In that, the first one is telolethal egg. Telolethal egg. Telo means tail or one end. Telo means tail or one end. So here if you observe this type of eggs, telolethal eggs, if it is egg, the yolk is distributed at only one end in the egg. Yolk is present only at one end. So that is what? That is telolethal egg. Telolethal egg. In the telolethal egg, the yolk is distributed only at one end. Only at one end. Or only at one pole. What is that pole? Vegetal pole. So yolk is accumulated only at vegetal pole. So there is uneven distribution. This yolk is not spread uniformly throughout the egg. It is fixed only at one particular end, that is vegetal pole. So this type of eggs are known as telolethal eggs. Telolethal eggs. Is it clear? In the telolethal eggs, the yolk is accumulated only at one end of the egg, that is vegetal pole. Telolethal eggs. Usually mesolethal eggs are telolethal type. Already I told you, alethal eggs and microlethal eggs are which type? That are homolethal or isolethal. Alethal and microlethal eggs are homolethal or isolethal. Heterolethal eggs, in that there is uneven distribution of yolk. There is no uniformity in the distribution of yolk throughout the egg. So in that, the first type is telolethal egg. In the telolethal eggs, the yolk is accumulated only at one pole or only at one end, that is vegetal pole. This type of eggs we will notice mainly in the mesolethal eggs. For example, mesolethal eggs are present in the amphibians As already I told you, in amphibians, lungfishes, in Vetromyzon, which type of eggs are there? Mesolecital eggs. For example, in frog, which type of eggs are there? That are telolecital egg. Telolecital eggs are present in the frogs. Telolecital eggs are present in the frog. Is it clear? In the telolecital, how the yolk is distributed? The yolk is located only at one end. Okay, that you have to remember. Telolecital. Once again, you have to remember all these are not there for your PUC syllabus. These are mainly for competitive examinations only. That you have to notice. Right, after completion of telolecital egg, what is the next type of egg here is centrolecital egg. Next is centrolecital. So the name itself indicates the location of yolk. Centrolecital. Centrolecital. Observe here. If it is the egg, in this egg, the yolk is accumulated at center. Yolk is accumulated at the center. Around this yolk, which is there, cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is accumulated around the yolk, but yolk is located at the center. Yolk is located at the center. Cytoplasm surrounds this yolk. This type of eggs are known as centrolecital eggs. Centrolecital eggs. Is it clear? Centrolecital eggs. See, these centrolecital eggs are present in the insects. The insect eggs also we can consider as a polylecital eggs or megalecital eggs. When compared to the size of the egg, yolk is abundant or yolk is large in quantities. Because of that, the insect eggs also considered as a polylecital or megalecital or macrolecital eggs. So the macrolecital eggs, especially in the case of insects. In first year already we discussed that which type of eggs are present in cockroach. Which type of eggs are present? Centrolecital eggs. Centrolecital eggs are present in the cockroach. That also you have to remember. Okay. So that's clear. Is it clear? Okay. So telolecital completed, centrolecital completed. Now discoidal eggs are meolecital eggs. Discoidal eggs are meolecital eggs. Discoidal or meolecital eggs. Discoidal eggs are meolecital eggs. What is this discoidal or meolecital egg? Observe here, if it is egg, in this egg, majority of the portion of egg is occupied by the yolk. Majority of the portion is occupied by yolk. So which type of egg it is? Based on the quantity, based on the amount of yolk, which type of egg is this? It is the polylecital or megalecital or macrolecital egg. So here, most of the region or most of the space in the egg is occupied by yolk. And the nucleus and the cytoplasm will push towards peripheral region, and the nucleus and cytoplasm appear in the form of a small disc. That the cytoplasm is appear in the form of a small disc at one end. So most of the region in the egg is occupied by yolk. Most of the space in the egg is occupied by yolk, and the cytoplasm and nucleus will push towards the peripheral region, and the cytoplasm and the nucleus arranged in the form of disc. A small disc-like arrangement of cytoplasm is there. So this is discoidal or meolecital egg. Discoidal or meolecital egg that we have to notice here. So here in the discoidal eggs or meolecital eggs, what you have to notice here? In the discoidal eggs or myolystal eggs, there is more quantity of cytoplasm, more quantity of yolk is present. So majority of the portion in the egg is occupied by the yolk. The cytoplasm is in the form of a small disc at only peripheral region. The cytoplasm is only in the form of a disc that you have to notice. Okay, so that's clear about that. Is it clear? One second. Sorry. Okay. Is it clear? Observe now. So this type of eggs are, as already I told you, macrolystal or polylystal eggs are which type of eggs? Discoidal or myolystal eggs. So what are the examples for that? Examples for that are the eggs of birds, that is ewes, the eggs of reptiles, and the eggs of oviparous mammals. Oviparous mammals, that is egg-laying mammals, are prototherian mammals. Prototherian mammals. The eggs of prototherian mammals. So that you have to remember. The second type of classification is completed here. It is based on the distribution of yolk in the eggs. Based on the distribution of yolk in the eggs are broadly classified into two types. The first type is homolystal or isolystal egg, and the second type is heterolystal eggs. In the homolystal or isolystal eggs, the yolk is evenly distributed throughout the egg. There is a uniform distribution of yolk. Similarly, a similar distribution, okay, of yolk is there in the eggs. But whereas in heterolystal eggs, the yolk is unevenly distributed. Yolk is unevenly distributed, that you have to notice here. In some regions of the egg, there is accumulation of more yolk, whereas in other regions, there is no accumulation or very less amount of yolk may distributed, that you have to notice. See, usually homolystal eggs or isolystal eggs are the character of alystal and microlystal eggs. Alystal and microlystal eggs. We can notice this type of eggs in Echinodermata and Protochordata. Echinodermata and Protochordata, we can notice this type of eggs. Whereas heterolystal eggs, based on the location of yolk, where the yolk is more accumulated in the egg, it is of three types: telolystal eggs, centrolystal eggs, and discoidal or myolystal eggs. Telolystal eggs, the yolk is accumulated at only one end, that is the distal pole. Centrolystal egg, the yolk is accumulated at the center of the egg. Discoidal, majority of the portion is occupied by the yolk, and the cytoplasm is in the form of a small disc. So that are the three types, and the respective examples also I gave you. So telolystal eggs are usually mesolystal in nature. Based on the quantity, these are mesolystal. Centrolystal eggs are polylystal eggs, or megalystal eggs, or macrolystal eggs that are mainly present in the insects. And discoidal eggs also megalystal or macrolystal or polylystal. These are present in the reptiles, ewes, and oviparous mammals. So that you have to remember here. So second type of classification also completed. Second type of classification of yolk, classification of eggs is based on what? It is mainly based on distribution of yolk. Now the third type of classification. The third type of classification of eggs, that is based on presence or absence of shell. Based on presence or absence of shell, there are two types based on shell. Based on shell, based on shell, what are the types of eggs that we have to notice here? So here there are two types of eggs present. One is cleidoic eggs. Cleidoic eggs. Another one is non-cleidoic eggs. Cleidoic eggs and non-cleidoic eggs are the two types of eggs here. Cleidoic eggs and non-cleidoic eggs are present here. See, what is the character of cleidoic eggs and what is the character of non-cleidoic eggs that you have to remember. Okay. See the egg with shell. What is the cleidoic egg? The egg with a calcareous shell. If the egg is covered by calcareous shell, if the egg is covered by calcareous shell, that is known as cleidoic egg. See, if you see the egg of hen, is there any shell around it? There is a calcareous. Calcareous means which is made up of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate made shell is present in the egg of hen. So if you observe terrestrial animals, the eggs are covered by shells. The eggs are covered by shells. So that type of eggs are known as cleidoic eggs. What about non-cleidoic eggs? The egg without shell. Egg without shell. So if the eggs are covered by a calcareous shell, that eggs are known as cleidoic eggs. If the eggs are not covered by calcareous shell, that are non-cleidoic eggs. If the eggs are covered by calcareous shell, that is cleidoic egg. If the eggs are not covered by calcareous shell, that are non-cleidoic eggs. Non-cleidoic eggs. Is it clear about this? So in which type of animals cleidoic eggs are present, and in which type of animals non-cleidoic eggs are present? And what is the nature of this shell also we have to notice here. For example, if you see, if it is a shell, sorry, if it is a egg, and around this egg there is a calcareous shell is present. Calcareous shell. It is made up of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate made shell, that is a calcareous shell is present. What is the use of this shell? Why the shell is required here? This type of shell is present in the egg-laying animals. There are terrestrial egg-laying animals. So cleidoic eggs are characteristic feature of egg-laying or oviparous terrestrial animals. Oviparous terrestrial animals. For example, if you see insects, the insects will lay egg in hard surfaces on the land. Reptiles, aves, and even the prototherian mammals, that is oviparous mammals, egg-laying mammals. In all these, they will lay egg on the land or hard surfaces. If there is no shell around that, what will happen? If they will lay egg without this shell, that may lead to rupture or damage of egg. And one more difficulty for the survival of these eggs is sunlight. So whenever these naked eggs without shell, the eggs, if that will be exposed to more sunlight, what will happen? All the moisture which is present in the egg will be evaporated. That leads to dry up of shell, dry up of egg. Is it clear? So two important difficulties are there. If there is no shell for the egg-laying animals on the land, the first one, without shell, if they will lay eggs, that leads to damage of egg, the first one. And the second one, if these eggs will be exposed to sunlight, that may causes for evaporation of all the moisture which is there in the egg. that leads to dry up of eggs. Eggs will die. So to overcome from these two problems, the animals which will lay eggs on the land developed this calcium carbonate made shell. So here I gave you calcareous shell. What is calcareous means? The shell which is made up of calcium carbonate. The shell which is made up of calcium carbonate is known as calcareous shell. The shell which is made up of calcium carbonate is known as calcareous shell. Calcareous shell. Is it clear? What is the use of this? So now, if the egg, in the egg which is there, the developing embryo is there. If the egg is covered by this thick and hard shell, this thick and hard shell covers the egg. Inside, which is there, embryo is there. Then how this embryo will get oxygen? Oxygen. How could the embryo will get the oxygen? Or how the exchange of gases takes place here? For the exchange of gases, on the surface of this shell, calcareous shell, minute pores are present, minute holes. So the shell has, it is the porous shell. What is porous shell? It possesses minute pores, holes. There are very minute pores or holes are present. What is the use of this minute pores or holes? These minute pores or holes are essential for the exchange of gases, that facilitates the exchange of gases between embryo and surrounding environment. Okay. So through these minute holes which are present in this, is it clear? If you observe an egg or a shell under a microscope, you can notice these minute pores. So the calcareous shell is porous, means minute pores or holes are present in this. Minute pores or holes present in this calcareous shell. What is the use of that? That are essential for the exchange of gases. For example, if you will apply a Vaseline around this or the gills, if you will apply nail polish to this shell, if you will take the egg of a hen and if you will apply nail polish to that, and if you will keep that egg away, if you will keep the egg aside for some days, after some days, if you will break the egg and observe inside, the egg will turn into black color because the embryo which is present in that, if it is fertilized egg, I am telling, the embryo which is present in that will be completely damaged. That will be died due to lack of exchange of gases. If you apply any Vaseline or nail polish to the shell, what will happen? All the pores will be chances for exchange of gases. If gas embryos, that leads to death of embryo. Is it clear? Right? So, what is cleidoic egg? The eggs which are covered by a calcareous porous cell, a calcareous porous shell are known as cleidoic eggs. The shell in this type of eggs is essential to avoid the evaporation of moisture which is present in the egg by sunlight, and also it is essential to avoid or to prevent the breakdown of eggs at the time of egg laying. That's clear. Okay. So here there are two. Okay. So here there are two important uses by this calcareous shell. One is that avoid the breakdown of egg at the time of laying, and the second is that prevents the evaporation of moisture which is present in the egg by the sunlight. Okay, then only the terrestrial animals can be able to lay the eggs and successfully hatches it and produces the offsprings. Otherwise, there is no chances. Okay, otherwise there is no chances for continuity of terrestrial oviparous animals. Continuity of terrestrial oviparous animals on the earth, it is not possible without cleidoic nature of eggs. Okay, so that you have to remember all the terrestrial oviparous animals lay this type of eggs, cleidoic eggs. For example, if you see for the first time which vertebrates shifted from the water to land, that are amphibians. The amphibians are the animals that are vertebrates which successfully shifted from the water to land. But again that went back to water. For example, we see the amphibians like frog that successfully shifted from the water to land, aquatic life to terrestrial life. But why that amphibians again returned back? Due to a lot of camptation in the water for food and the oxygen, that animal successfully shifted to land and adjusted to land. But again they returned back, they went back. Why? Because there is no shell in the eggs. So if there is no shell in the egg, even they shifted to land, but they cannot able to protect their eggs on the land. That may dry up by the sunlight or that may damage on the land. So because of that, to lay the eggs, that went back to the water. Even that shifted to land, but due to absence of cleidoic eggs, which type of eggs are there in the amphibians? Non-cleidoic eggs. That non-cleidoic eggs cannot successfully survive. That cannot successfully survive on the land. Okay, so that you have to remember. Examples for cleidoic eggs are all terrestrial viviparous animals. All terrestrial viviparous animals like insects, some annelids, insects, some annelids, aves, reptiles, and viviparous mammals. Wherever you will find a viviparous terrestrial animal, this type of egg is there, cleidoic egg. So reptiles, aves, egg-laying mammals, insects, and also in annelids, insects and annelids. Which type of eggs we will notice? Cleidoic eggs. The eggs are covered by shell. The eggs are covered by shell. So which type of animals are examples for that? Oviparous terrestrial or terrestrial oviparous animals. Terrestrial oviparous animals are examples for cleidoic. Okay, in that type of animals we'll notice the cleidoic eggs. What about non-cleidoic eggs? This type of non-cleidoic eggs are mainly present in the viviparous animals and also in aquatic animals. In aquatic animals and viviparous animals, which type of eggs are there? Non-cleidoic eggs are there. Non-cleidoic eggs are present in the viviparous. In the viviparous animals and also in the aquatic animals, which type of eggs are present? Non-cleidoic eggs are present, because that cannot be laid out. In viviparous animals, the egg cannot be laid out, so no need of shell. In aquatic animals that are present in the water, so there is no chances for evaporation of moisture by sunlight, so there is no need of shell. Is it clear? So in aquatic animals and in viviparous mammals, there are non-cleidoic eggs. Eggs are not covered by the shells, right? In human being, which type of eggs are there? Non-cleidoic egg. In all mammalians, especially in the viviparous mammals. In the viviparous mammals, which type of eggs are there? Non-cleidoic eggs. And also in ovoviviparous mammals also. Except in oviparous mammals, that is egg-laying mammals. In remaining all mammals, non-cleidoic eggs are there. What about other aquatic organisms? For example, in fishes and amphibians. In fishes and amphibians, which type of eggs we'll notice? That are also non-cleidoic eggs. Non-cleidoic eggs are present in the fishes, amphibians, and in viviparous mammals and other aquatic organisms which lay eggs inside the water. Right? That's clear about the third type of classification of eggs. So third type of classification of egg is mainly based on what? It is mainly based on shell. It is mainly based on the presence or absence of shell, that you have to notice here. But one more thing you have to notice, they may ask 3 type of eggs collectively. 3 type of eggs collectively they may ask. For example, if they will ask, choose the correct option that explains the type of egg in a snake. The type of egg in a snake. They will give you 4 options in that. The first one, mesolecital, telolecital, and cleidoic. The second one, megalecital, centrolecital, non-cleidoic. The third option, macrolecital, discoidal, and cleidoic. Macrolecital, discoidal, and cleidoic. And the fourth option, macrolecital, discoidal, non-cleidoic. So which type of egg is present in snake? Which type of egg is present in snake? So based on the amount of yolk, it is megalecital or macrolecital or polylecital. Based on the distribution of yolk, it is discoidal or meolecital. Based on presence or absence of shell, it is cleidoic egg. So snake is a reptile. So here, what is the type of egg in this snake? So the egg of snake is megalecital, discoidal, and cleidoic egg. Megalecital, discoidal, and cleidoic egg that we have to notice. Is it clear? Right. After completion of that, they may ask one more question also. What are the types of eggs in starfish? Starfish. This type of eggs are there in starfish. So in starfish, which belongs to Echinodermata, in the starfish, the egg is microlecital egg. Microlecital egg. Based on amount of yolk, it is microlecital egg. Based on distribution of yolk, it is homolecital or isolecital egg. There is no shell, so it is non-cleidoic egg. So the egg of starfish is microlecital, homolecital, non-cleidoic. Microlecital, homolecital, non-cleidoic. That also you have to remember. And one more example. Choose the correct option regarding to the egg of cockroach or insect. To the egg of cockroach or insect. So which type of eggs are there in insects? Based on the amount of yolk, megalecital or macrolecital or polylecital. Based on distribution of yolk, centrolecital. Based on presence or absence of shell, it is cleidoic egg. Egg. So what is the type of egg in cockroach? In the cockroach, the eggs are macrolecital or polylecital or megalecital, centrolecital and cleidoic. Centrolecital and cleidoic. What about in human being? What is the type of egg in human being? Alecital, homolecital, non-cleidoic. There is no shell. There is absence of yolk. Negligible amount of yolk. That is evenly distributed. So homolecital. So here alecital, homolecital or isolecital, non-cleidoic egg is present in human being. Is it clear? The egg of human is alecital, homolecital or isolecital, non-cleidoic in nature. So that you have to remember here. Maybe you all know that which is the largest cell in human body. That is egg, 0.1 millimeter in diameter. And after completion of this classification, we have to know the egg membranes. What are the various membranes that present around the egg? And what is a primary egg membrane, secondary egg membrane, tertiary egg membrane? All that also we have to discuss. Before going to discuss about the egg membranes and which is the largest egg in kingdom Animalia and which is the smallest egg in kingdom Animalia, all the details we will discuss. Before going to discuss it, take a short break. Welcome back, students. After completion of classification of eggs, now we are going to discuss about the egg membranes. Egg membranes. Egg membranes. Egg membranes. Egg membranes. You all know that the egg membranes are mainly to provide protection. Okay, that will provide protection, and also that will helps in the attachment to the surfaces in some organisms like amphibians. Okay, so now we will discuss about what are the egg membranes and how the egg membranes are classified based on the location of their origin, from which part of the reproductive system that are produced or that are developed. Based on that, the egg membranes are classified into three types: primary egg membranes, secondary egg membranes, and tertiary egg membranes. So we can classify the egg membranes into three types based on the location or site of origin. Based on the site of origin, the egg membranes are of three types. The first one is primary egg membranes. Primary egg membranes. The second is secondary egg membranes. Secondary egg membranes. And the third one here is tertiary egg membranes. Tertiary egg membranes. So in the eggs, we can notice three type of membranes: primary egg membranes, secondary egg membranes, and tertiary egg membranes. There are three type of egg membranes: primary, secondary, and also tertiary. Right? Now we will discuss what is a primary egg membrane. The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself. The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself are known as primary egg membranes. So, what is the site of secretion? That is oocyte. The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself. The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself is known as primary egg membranes. The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself is primary egg membrane. Maybe you all know that. So various membranes around the egg will be secreted in various regions of the female reproductive tract. These membranes may secreted by oocyte itself, or that may secreted by the ovary, or that may secreted by the fallopian tubes, or that may secreted inside the uterus. Inside the uterus. So the egg membranes may be originates from different locations, that may arises from different locations, or that are produced by different structures of female reproductive tract. If the egg membranes are secreted by oocyte itself, that are produced by oocyte itself, that egg membranes are known as primary egg membranes. Primary egg membranes. For example, in human being, which are the primary egg membranes? You all know that the vitelline membrane is secreted by oocyte itself. Vitelline membrane is secreted by oocyte itself, and after that the second one is zona pellucida, also secreted by oocyte. Zona pellucida also secreted by oocyte. So what are the primary egg membranes in human being? That is vitelline membrane and zona pellucida. Vitelline membrane and zona pellucida. Sorry for the disturbance, students. Observe here, we are discussing egg membranes. In the egg membranes, there are three types of egg membranes are present in the eggs of animals: primary egg membranes, secondary egg membranes, and tertiary egg membranes. What is the primary egg membrane? The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself, that are produced by oocyte itself, are known as primary egg membranes. And what are secondary egg membranes? The egg membranes which Okay, see here, what is secondary egg membrane? The egg membranes which are produced by ovary, the egg membranes which are produced by ovaries, or the membranes which are secreted in the ovary is known as secondary egg membranes. What is the primary egg membrane? The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself. The egg membranes which are secreted by oocyte itself are known as primary egg membranes. In human being, what are the examples for primary egg membranes? Vital membrane and zona pellucida are the primary egg membranes that are secreted by oocyte. Secondary egg membrane. What is secondary egg membrane? The secondary egg membranes, the membranes which are secreted by ovaries, the membranes which are secreted by the ovaries is known as secondary egg membranes. And which is the secondary egg membrane that is secreted by the ovary in human being? That is corona radiata. Corona radiata. Corona radiata is the secondary egg membrane. Corona radiata is the secondary egg membrane that is secreted by the follicular cells of ovaries. Follicular cells of ovaries. So secondary egg membranes. And what are tertiary egg membranes? The egg membranes which are secreted by fallopian tubes and uterus. Fallopian tubes and uterus. The egg membranes which are produced by or which are produced in oviducts, that is the fallopian tubes, and also in the uterus of mother. So if the egg membranes are formed in the oviduct or uterus, that are known as tertiary egg membranes. Based on the location of formation or based on the location of development, the egg membranes are classified into three types: primary egg membranes, secondary egg membranes, and tertiary egg membranes. The primary egg membranes are secreted by oocyte itself. The secondary egg membranes are produced inside the ovaries, and the tertiary egg membranes are produced in the oviduct or uterus. So what are the examples for these tertiary membranes? Actually, in human egg, these tertiary membranes we cannot notice, but in some other animals like amphibians and all cleidoic eggs, the shell jelly coat in amphibians, the shell in cleidoic eggs and shell membrane. So shell and shell membrane, jelly coat, both are tertiary membranes. The shell membrane, inside shell, if you observe, there is a thin membrane is there, no, that is the shell membrane. So the shell membrane, shell and a jelly coat. This jelly coat is present in the eggs of aquatic organisms, especially in amphibians. With the help of this jelly coat, the eggs of that animal will attach to substances, various substances that will be attached. Okay, so that is mainly useful for the attachment or adhering of eggs to the various substances. Okay, that you have to remember on the surfaces of various substances that will be attached. So tertiary egg membranes here are shell and jelly coat. Shell and jelly coat are the tertiary egg membranes. So these three you have to remember. In human being, we can notice primary and secondary egg membranes, but there is no tertiary egg membranes. These are present in the case of terrestrial oviparous animals and also in aquatic animals that are present. Is it clear about the egg membranes? There are three types of egg membranes I gave you here: primary, secondary, and tertiary. And one more thing, we are studying here about the eggs or ova. The study of eggs is known as oolology. What is oolology? The study of eggs. The study of eggs or study of ova is known as oolology. And in kingdom Animalia, polychaetes. The eggs of polychaetes are the smallest. In kingdom Animalia, the eggs of polychaetes are the smallest. The smallest eggs we are noticing in Polychaeta. So Already we discussed about all the phyla of kingdom Animalia in first year. In that, in kingdom Animalia, in phylum Annelida, there are three classes: Polychaeta, Oligochaeta, Hirudinea. Polychaeta, Oligochaeta, Hirudinea. So in Polychaeta, Nereis, I gave you Nereis, sandworm. So Nereis is the polychaete. These are annelids. So in polychaetes, the smallest egg, it is about 50 microns. 50 microns or 50 micrometers. The smallest eggs in kingdom Animalia are the eggs of polychaetes. The smallest eggs in kingdom Animalia are the eggs of polychaetes, and the largest egg, Struthio camelis, ostrich. Scientific name of this is Struthio camelis, the largest single cell in kingdom Animalia. The largest single cell in kingdom Animalia is the egg of ostrich. It is about 17 centimeters in diameter. 17 centimeters or 170 millimeters. 170 millimeters. So the largest egg is egg of ostrich. The largest egg is egg of ostrich. Is it clear? The egg of ostrich is about 17 centimeters. 17 centimeters. That is 50 microns. It is 17 centimeters or 170 millimeters. What about human egg? It is 0.1 millimeter. 0.1 millimeter is the largest cell in human body. But what about the cell? The diameter of ostrich egg? 170 millimeters. That is 170 millimeters. Human egg is 0.1 millimeter. Based on that only, you can compare how large this ostrich egg is. That is the largest single cell in kingdom Animalia. That also you have to remember. Up to that, the oogenesis. After that, there is the topic what we discussed here is, after completion of that, the type of eggs also completed. Up to that, male reproductive system is completed, female reproductive system is completed, and next gametogenesis in male and female, that is spermatogenesis and oogenesis, both are completed. And after completion of that, we discussed about the structure of human gametes, structure of sperm and structure of ovum. After completion of structure of ovum, we discussed about the types of eggs. What are the types of eggs we discussed? There are three different type of classifications based on the amount of yolk, based on the distribution of yolk, and based on the shell. Okay, there are three type of classifications based on the amount of yolk. The eggs are classified into four types: alesthal, microlesthal, mesolesthal, and megalesthal, which is also known as macrolesthal or polylesthal. After that, based on the distribution of yolk, homolesthal and heterolesthal are of two types. Homolesthal is also known as isolesthal, and heterolesthal is divided into three types based on the location of yolk. The first one is telolesthal, centrolesthal, and discoidal. Okay, telolesthal, centrolesthal, and discoidal. And after completion of that, we discussed about cleidoic and non-cleidoic eggs based on the shell. If shell is present, cleidoic eggs. If shell is absent, non-cleidoic eggs. What is the importance of this shell and all we discussed already. And after that, we discussed the egg membranes based on the location of formation. These are of two types: primary egg membranes, secondary egg membranes, and tertiary egg membranes. Primary egg membranes are secreted by oocyte itself. Secondary egg membranes are secreted by the ovary, and the tertiary egg membranes are produced in the fallopian tubes or oviducts and in uterus. Okay, that we discussed the study of egg is Ulalazi. Okay, right. After completion of this, what is the next topic we are going to discuss here is the reproductive cycle in primates. The reproductive cycle in primates, that is menstrual cycle. The next topic we are going to discuss here is menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle in female primates. In female primates. See, the animals which belongs to the order Primata, the animals which belongs to order Primata are known as primates. So what are the animals included in order Primata? The old world monkeys, anthropoid apes, and human being are primates. What are the primates? Animals here? Old world monkeys, the monkeys which are distributed in Africa and Asia. The monkeys which are distributed in Africa and Asia that are mainly adapted for land. Okay, so that are old world monkeys. In that old world monkeys, anthropoid apes like gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees. Gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees are anthropoid apes, and also in human. Okay, all these are the animals included in the order Primata. Okay, we are primates. We are primates. In female, in primate females, okay, there is a reproductive cycle which is known as menstrual cycle. So there are some cyclic changes continuously takes place. So there are some cyclic changes continuously takes place in the uterus. In the uterus of female primates are known as menstrual cycle. What is menstrual cycle? I will give you the detailed definition later. Just remember, for your understanding, I am giving a just common, okay, a simple definition. What is menstrual cycle? The cyclic changes which are repeated with a particular time gap or with a particular time interval, okay, in the uterus and also in the ovaries. In the uterus and ovaries of a female primate. In the uterus and ovaries of a female primate is known as menstrual cycle. The cyclic events which takes place in the uterus and ovaries of a female primate with a regular interval or with a regular time gap is known as menstrual cycle. So different animals have different time period to complete the cyclic events. In human being, this menstrual cycle will be completed within 28 to 30 days. So what will be that? It will be completed in 28 to 30 days. 28 to 30 days. So the reproductive cycle in primates is known as menstrual cycle. The reproductive cycle in the primates is known as menstrual cycle. What is reproductive cycle? The repeated cyclic changes which takes place in the uterus and ovaries of a female with a regular time gap or with a regular interval is the repeated cyclic events that takes place in the uterus and ovaries of a female with a regular time gap or with a regular time interval is known as reproductive cycle. What is the name of reproductive cycle in the primates? In the primates, the name of reproductive cycle is menstrual cycle. In non-primates, the name of reproductive cycle is estrous cycle. So there are two types of reproductive cycles we will notice in the mammalians. In primates, this is a menstrual cycle. In the non-primates, it is a estrous cycle. Okay. So in human being is a primate. So the reproductive cycle of human being is also known as menstrual cycle. What is menstrual cycle? Very simple definition. Menstrual cycle, the reproductive cycle in female primates. The reproductive cycle in a female primate is known as menstrual cycle. Then what is reproductive cycle? The repeated cyclic events which takes place. The repeated cyclic events which takes place in female reproductive system with a regular interval or with a regular time gap is known as reproductive cycle. What is reproductive cycle? The repeated cyclic changes that takes place in female reproductive system with a regular interval or with a regular time gap is known as reproductive cycle. The reproductive cycle in primates is known as menstrual cycle. In human being, this menstrual cycle will be completed within 28 to 30 days of time. Okay. And in this menstrual cycle in human being, which is a highly hormonally regulated process, it is highly hormonally regulated process. And here, in the menstrual cycle of human, there are 4 phases. The first phase is menstrual phase or bleeding phase. The second phase is follicular phase or proliferative phase or pre-ovulatory phase or estrogenic phase. And the third phase is ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase. And the last phase and fourth phase. The last and fourth phase here is post-ovulatory phase or secretory phase or luteal phase or progesterogenic phase. Progesterogenic phase. So how many phases are there in the menstrual cycle of a female human being? There are 4 phases. The first phase is menstrual phase or bleeding phase. The first phase is menstrual phase or bleeding phase. The second phase is follicular phase. Follicular phase or proliferative phase. Proliferative phase or estrogenic phase or pre-ovulatory phase. And the third phase is ovulatory phase. And the fourth phase, that is the last phase, secretory phase or luteal phase or post-ovulatory phase or progesterogenic phase. So we have to discuss about all that phases in detail, and along with that we have to discuss the hormonal regulation of menstrual cycle. There are 4 hormones play an important role: 2 ovarian hormones and 2 pituitary hormones. The 2 ovarian hormones are estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone are 2 ovarian hormones that play an important role in the regulation of menstrual cycle. And the 2 pituitary hormones, FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, also play an important role in the regulation of menstrual cycle. That all we will discuss in next class. Thank you.